Good evening, Council. We have an agenda that's been prepared, and we also have some additions. Under new business, we will add as number 3, the FY23 Tribal Transportation Improvement Plan, also known as the TIP. We will add as number 4, Tribal Code Development Revision FY22, and number 5, FY23 Winnebago Tribe Senior Home Improvement Project under the USDA. Under old business, we'll add the re-advertisement of the Hemp Commission. Under tribal council items, I understand we have 2 executive sessions. Do we have any further additions?
The other one is the tax commission too.
Okay.
Vacancy.
Also, okay, so we will also do re-advertise tax commission along with the Hemp Commission. Thank you, Lorelei. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Eric. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Louis. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 7-0-0. Thank you, Council. Our first item is to approve the minutes. The June 6, 2022 regular Tribal Council meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve? We have a motion by Rona. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Coley. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 7-0-0. Number 2, June 8th and 9th, 2022.
Oh, Kenny and.
Oh
Isaac
shoot,
are
you're right,
still
5,
up.
then 5, 6,
Yeah.
6-0-0. Thank you. So the top one, 6-0-0-2. Okay, so 6-0-0 for both those votes. Thank you, Lorelei. June 8th and 9th, 2022 CEO report meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Eric. Do we have a second? Second by Rona. Discussion. I want to say special thank you to our CEO, CAO, and the council. We did a 16-hour CEO report, and that was a really long meeting, so thank you for that. Any further discussion? Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. The third one, June 13th, 2022 land meeting enrollment update meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Louis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rona. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. Number 4, June 13th, 2022 Special Tribal Council meeting minutes, eligible voters list and select election board. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
Move it.
Motion by Eric. Do we have a second? Second by Rona. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 6-0-0. Isaac in at 5:12. June 15th, 2022 General Council meeting minutes. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Coley. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried. Isaac, do you want to participate in this vote? We're approving the General Council minutes. Okay. Motion carried 7-0-0. The next item is ratify 5 signatures. Number 1, approve directing our General Counsel and Communications Director to write and release a press statement. Is this regarding the
Yeah,
The
pipeline.
pipeline, the carbon.
the carbon pipeline? Do we have a motion to ratify that 5 signature?
So moved.
We have a motion by Louis. We have a second by Isaac. Discussion. I understand there'll be an interview tomorrow. I had asked Eric to participate, but I will be there to support him and any other council that would like to be. Eric set that up for 1 p.m. tomorrow. Any further discussion? Objection to the motion. Motion carried 7-0-0. Thank you, council. Under new business, we have youth jackets for state qualifiers and competitors. Do we have any comments on that, or are we just ready to approve this quote for $343.50? And I believe these are for, are these for our wrestlers, or let's see. Anybody know which?
Oh, yeah, it was the wrestlers and
I'm trying to see
Golf.
who came in.
Oh, Hannah, Madonna. Denise, and somebody else I can't see who that is.
Make a motion to approve the jackets for $343.50.
We have a motion by Eric. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Louis, that's approving the quote from Five Star for our state qualifier jackets. Any further discussion? Um, Isaac needs his mic live.
Who's second?
Louis. Did you have a comment, Isaac? No. Okay. Any further discussion? Objection? Motion carried 7-0. That brings us to number 2, Atlas request. Hi, LaDonna, good evening. Hi, Denise. Hi, Annie. And James. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name's LaDonna Holstein. I've been working as an advocate with Atlas since 2011. That's something that ended up, what we seen at Atlas was a need for our people to get help with substance abuse. That led me to the alcohol program, which I worked there for 2 years under a tour grant. That tour grant ended, but in the process, we applied for another grant that was going to follow through with that. Okay, so that's a little bit about me, and I'm going to read this letter from the Atlas Board. Atlas would like to recognize these founding members, Mrs. Nikki Solomon, Miss Nola Solomon, and Mr. Keith Chamberlain, and also thank the Winnebago Reformed Church and the Winnebago Tribe for their support. Our current Atlas of Winnebago Inc. Board Directors, our president is Lowell Tanclay, Vice President Wakan Grasty, Secretary Treasurer Nancy Gillis, Member Ken Vampola, Member James Price Sr., Member LaDonna Holstein. At our Atlas Board meeting held June 13, 2022, we decided that we should contact the Tribal Council to see how Atlas could help address some of the issues identified in the June 6, 2022 Tribal Council meeting. Throughout its history, Atlas has been primarily an advocate for the people of this community who are in need. Sometimes they just need to be pointed to the right organization or contact that has been set up specifically for their problems. Many people need us to encourage and even push them to fulfill the requirements that have to be accomplished. Other times they need someone to come alongside to advise or interpret the steps that need to be followed. Most recently, change is happening, and those organizations are beginning again with new leadership. In our efforts to help our people, we have set up a food pantry, organized classes for people convicted of traffic offenses, set up groups like Alcoholics Anonymous, Motherhood is Sacred, and Boundaries. We have assisted people in registering for SNAP, general assistance, getting their driver's license, Medicaid, and Social Security. Atlas helps to find housing and furniture as advocates. Atlas workers have helped residents to acquire a home title and get repairs to their home, and so that it is made livable. Atlas helps those with alcohol, drug, and mental health problems to help find treatment, and even transports and supervises individuals who have no other support. Atlas was also fundamental in bringing the MAT, which is a medically assisted treatment program, to Winnebago. One of the most pressing needs, and indeed probably the most deadly problem in our community, is the lack of a detoxification service for alcohol and drug addiction. Atlas began using the detoxification services in Omaha. We sat with our people until the detox facility accepted them, and we often transported. Our hospital was built to accommodate such treatment. However, our local system has yet to implement such a service. In 2022, the tribe was awarded a grant for this purpose, but it has not been used, nor has any plan been implemented or even introduced. Since Atlas has been serving our membership, we suggest the Winnebago Tribal Council redirect those funds to Atlas and support us to implement such treatment. Atlas has developed a good working relationship with some of our organizations, but more has to be done to care for our membership as soon as possible. This redirection of funds would help us to continue to provide such advocacy and save the lives of the Winnebago people. We thank you for your support, and it's a letter that the Atlas Board of Directors put together. This is another letter from Annie. Annie's getting ready to have her surgery for her eyes, so she can't see this, but she wrote this. Okay, my name is Annie Rave. I'm an enrolled member, Winnebago tribal member. I am writing this letter of support for the Atlas program. Atlas has helped me in many ways. I attend the following groups: AA, Boundaries, and Motherhood is Sacred, that has helped me maintain my sobriety. I have been attending groups for the past 7 months, and it has changed my life. Atlas has also helped with household and food items while I was rebuilding my life and taking care of my health. Atlas provided transportation and assistance in sorting out ownership of my home. I could not have received home repair without Atlas helping me obtain a corrected deed to my home. My home is in serious disrepair, and I had nowhere else to go. Please consider helping to fund the Atlas program, as this program helps many people in our community. Thank you for your time, listening, and consideration of assistance for the Atlas program. Annie L. Rave. Okay, so we're here to ask the Tribal Council to redirect the funds from that CTAS grant. It's a coordinated tribal assistant solicitation. It's all to do about detox and recovery and treatment, outreach. I know that because I had a little input on that. Right now, that grant has been sitting inactive since October of 2020. So that's about 18 months worth money there that we could be using to help our people. So that's what we're here for.
Thank you, LaDonna. What program is I guess managing that grant?
Well, it was a grant given to the Winnebago tribe, and at that time we were working at the alcohol program.
So it's under the alcohol program?
So it's under the alcohol program, but now the alcohol program is under the hospital.
Yes.
So it's
So the
under the
council
hospital.
wouldn't be the one to redirect that grant?
It was a grant that was given to the Winnebago tribe.
So I
So-
don't know the status of, I guess that grant, but I could find out. I guess I'm just at a loss because I don't have that in front of me, and I don't know how much money we're talking about here, or, you know, the term of how long the grant is.
It's a
and
5-year grant?
I can't take your word for that. I need that in front of me.
Yeah, well, I don't have access to that either, but I do know that because I was very influential and I had a lot of input on it.
So we can find out from Crystal, what her intentions with that grant are, and if they don't, I guess I've actually emailed Rita Dunn today because I've been signing a series of these letters for these like no-cost extensions and things, and my first thought is, why are we going after all this money if we can't spend it, or the people that are in charge of this money are not spending this money when we know we have need? So I'm with you on that, LaDonna, and I'll look into it.
Well, and we all know how crucial that is to our people. We know how in the recent months, you know, we've lost our people to that. And I know that had we not had the tribal opioid response grant at the alcohol program, we would have lost some people there. But we reached out to them, we helped them, we followed, we were just very adamant about helping them and continuing to help them. And we still are today. And I believe those people are walking the street today because of the outreach that we did. So I know we can do it. I know what works. We use a lot of our tribal customs, our healing and cultural ways. And, you know, I think a lot of our people are lost. And that's a way for them to get them back and to give them a sense of being a part of us. And we brought Annie here today because Annie's a very good example of that.
Hi, Annie.
Yeah. Hina, do you want to say anything?
No, I just, I guess I could say I'm a success story too with Atlas and all the tribal programs. 16 years ago, I took my last drink, and it was because of all the tribal programs that were there. Atlas helped with food, different things that, you know.
Excuse me,
nowhere else could
Hannah,
work.
can you speak into a mic so Louie and Brian and Esther and them can hear you? Cause they can't unless you're talking into a mic. Sorry.
I'd like to say good evening to all the council members. Thank you for listening to us. I just wanted to show my support and my concern for all the people, our tribal membership. Like I said before, I too am a success story. I feel like I am, and I thank the Creator, and I thank for all the tribal programs that helped me along the way to where I'm at today. My children are thankful, and you know, I am too, for being alive. I think that's probably the reason why I sit on the Atlas board, the homeless shelter board, and all the other boards. Is I just want to help out, you know, as much as I can. So, you know, if you have to look into it, go ahead and look into it, you know. But I think it's Atlas and the shelter boards are, you know, a very worthy cause to actually help fund. You know, we got to keep them going. Got to keep these people off the streets. We all know the alcohol problems and the drug addiction problems that are in our community, and actually they're everywhere. But if we could start here and work on our own people, I think that would be huge strides for keeping us alive. So thank you again for listening and taking into consideration. That's all I have.
Thanks, James. Does the council have any questions or comments for our presenters? Isaac? Well, it's under WCHS, so that's why I'm sending out an email right now to include that in her,
Yeah.
her Thursday presentation on
Oh.
the status of this grant.
Yeah.
Okay, Isaac.
So I was just gonna say that we could have. It looks like right now we got to kind of get our ducks in a line, so to say. to see where that funding's at, and then to see what they're trying to plan for it. And to me, it's kind of frustrating because, and I have to agree with what Tori was saying, was we apply for all this money and then we don't spend it. And then that kind of falls on some of the directors and some of, not having enough staff. And we could go on and on about excuses, but why sign up for something that's just going to make it harder next time around if we don't spend that funding?
I see.
And then there's a need here. So I would look at having a discussion, and I don't want to push this work off on anybody, but having a discussion with the people that need to be brought into the discussion and see where this meeting's at, and whether it's at the hospital or whether it's over here, but to see what we can get done with that funding, and where we can, where if they're not using it, then we can give it to a program that's going to utilize it, and then be accountable for it too. And so one of the other things too is I have a hard time with is that we've put over, I don't know, $40,000 into that old house down here, the Smith house, the Robinson Smith house, and that's not being utilized. And so what little that I was able to find out was they were saying the funding is there, but they can't hire staff, or they didn't hire staff. And so we're having people that have completed treatment and completed the part that we've asked of them to do as far as that. And then now there's a need for that. So we could put those people together. So if you're able to help people and fix them up and get them on the right track, then those people can also become success stories. But I see the whole system. It's not just one part of it. It's not just law enforcement. It's not just the court. It's not just, human services or anything. It's all of those. You have to fix all of those. So when I get this first person that comes in the door from point A to point B, then point C to D, what programs and so on and so forth, what programs are doing those. So by the time you end up running a person, showing them all those tribal programs, and they get through all of those, then they're living in a healthy lifestyle. Then they're able to buy a home. Then they're able to continue on. They have their kids back. They have a job. They got a second chance. Those kind of things. Those are some of the things that right now I just kind of bang my head against the wall, because we need those programs, all those programs to kind of kick it in gear. Because last month we've had probably, and I'm just going to take a number out there, but we had, I believe, is 5 deaths related to alcohol. 5 of those could have been saved. We don't know that, but we could sure as hell give it hell trying. So I get frustrated with that, because we're so quick to jump at grants, but then we don't hire nobody. We don't do nothing. We kind of sit on the funding. And it's not. I'm not trying to blame anybody. I'm just trying to say if the shoe fits, wear it. But at the same time, a lot of these different places in there, sometimes we have a hard time with reporting. Of saying what money did you get? What'd you spend it on? What'd you do with it? Okay, now we need the next quarterly report, and so on and so forth. So there's a multiple levels of issues when it comes to the tribe receiving funding. And we used to have somebody that was very good at that was able to kind of track those kind of things, and to say, hey, this report's got to be in, this report's got to be in, this one over here. And that was Esther before she took on the CEO position. She kind of monitored a lot of those. And she would have to kind of go after some of those programs and kind of tell them, hey, heads up, you got to get your report in on time, otherwise the council is going to be asking you questions. So I'm in full support of trying to get all these things figured out. And if we need to have a meeting, to send an email, then let's do it and let's get it done so we can help these people. Because the more things that each one of us put an excuse or something in front of that could cost us a life. And each one of us at this table here and in this room could probably relate to a relative out there that's having a hard time, whether it's mental illness, addiction, alcoholism, all of that, So it's nothing to play with. But I think one of the things, if we're able to find that out, figure that pathway out of utilizing our programs, there's going to be other people in Indian country that are going to watch how we have that done and laid that out. It could be through spirituality, it could be through culture, language, all of those. But all of those have to connect. The right hand has to talk to the left hand in order to be successful at this. And some of the things are so simple. Today I had an incident that occurred where I was like, I really don't know why these two people are sitting 100 feet away from each other and cannot talk to each other, you know. And so I made some phone calls and did what I had to do, and they know each other's name today, so we're kind of moving forward, I guess. But those kind of simple things kind of just get frustrating sometimes, you know. And that's where I'm at. I think that all the stuff that Alice does is good, and I'm thankful that they were there when we start having this pandemic. I want to say thank you to you, Denise, and the rest of you guys that all had a hand in that. You guys served a lot of people. You guys helped a lot of people, and that's something that shouldn't go unnoticed, you know. I mean, you had cars clear on the block here. That kind of says something. So, but there's some people that will support this healthy lifestyle, and then there's some people that won't, you know. So, thank you.
Thanks, Isaac. Lorelei.
Thank you, Atlas, for coming, and thank you for all your advocacy. Always, everybody appreciates you guys. But I just wanted to tell you that we have been trying to have an update with the hospital for like 2 months now. And each time that we've scheduled it, we've lost a tribal member. So it had to be rescheduled. And hopefully everything's going to go good for our tribe this week, because we're scheduled to meet with them on Thursday. And one of the questions that I had continually to raise is 2 years ago, the hospital had a meeting with the tribal council, and it was their COO at the time. I can't remember her name now. Gee, I'm getting old. And their head pharmacist and their head nurse. And they told us that they were very soon going to be ready to start admitting our people for alcohol detox. That was 2 years ago. And my question for when we're going to have this WCHS update is, why aren't we admitting our people in our hospital for alcohol detox? After 2 years, they told us they were going to start. Why aren't we admitting them? And I know this for a fact in my own family, that a family member needed detox really bad, and we had to end up, and thankfully the alcohol program helped her, but she had to go to Omaha. And somebody had to transport her because she was so afraid she was going to go into DTs. And I just think, here we have this inpatient facility. They told us 2 years ago they're going to admit our people, give them the banana bags so they're getting the vitamins they need, replacement, helping them so they keep low anxiety. And that's a time when we can work with them to get them into our counseling and into our, while they're detoxing. So that's my question, and I'm not trying to blame anybody. I just want to know, why did they tell us 2 years ago they were going to start doing it, and we still are not admitting anybody in our hospital? And I'm not on that board, and I keep wanting to know that. I don't never get an answer from anybody. So I'm hoping I'm going to hear that on Thursday. Why? So I'm totally with you. And maybe, we don't know that for sure, but maybe if we can get this fixed, we can be detoxing our own people in our own hospital here very soon. I'm so hoping we can get there. And then our programs can reach out to them and start helping them heal. But I don't know about the CTAS grant. The chairwoman said she's going to find out. We don't know what that program, maybe they're already spending it on some aspect of treatment we don't know about yet, but we have to find out. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thanks, Lorelei. Kenny?
Annie, first of all, I've been praying for you. And I know it'll go well for you. Secondly, Denise and LaDonna, I don't know if you know it or you felt like I was talking about you behind your back this past week, and I was. I went to a Reformed Church conference in Pella, Iowa, and there was over 170 churches from across the United States there. And I had an opportunity to speak to the whole group, and I talked about the Atlas program and what it was doing in the community for the people, and that it was based in our church basement. And I just went on to tell about how during COVID you were instrumental in distributing food, clothing, and whatever to the community. So, Reformed Church, what you've done in Winnebago hasn't gone unnoticed. But I also took the time out to talk about the tribal council and how they've stepped up to support the alcohol and the two programs you run. But I said to them, a lot of times you as churches don't think you've made a positive impact in the community of Winnebago, but you have. This past year, I don't know how much the council gave to Atlas program and the Reformed Church to better some of our structures and the kind of services that were being provided. So I had the opportunity to brag about the Atlas program and think about my honey over there, but also to recognize the this council and the impact that they made on the community on behalf of the church. And I went away with a lot of people asking me more about your program and how is the council doing and that type of situation. So I was thankful that I got to speak on behalf of all of you people in this room today. So I feel good that I was able to reach out. And they were really grateful that the mission work they've done over the years shows results today. That's what they were most impressed about. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Kenny. Eric?
I think it's pretty easy on what needs to be done. We have a grant that sat around from 18 to 24 months from the year 2020. Got a 5-year grant that's been sitting around for far too long, and I think we just need to move that CTAS grant over to keep things moving for our people. Words can be spoken, but that time that it's sat idle, it speaks for itself. And I think we need to start moving forward, knowing that we put the drug and alcohol program or the alcohol program under the hospital. The hospital has been sitting there for 5 years and it's still not certified. And when we did that, they said there was going to be no jobs lost over there, and jobs are lost. And so that's why I think we just need to keep moving forward and put that CTAS grant over to Atlas. Thank you.
Well, in the meantime, I did learn from Joy that the CTAS grant was subawarded to WCHS. So they are the grant holders under Department of Justice. Okay, but we'll still learn more about it on Thursday.
Yeah, Tori, how did they subaward that to the hospital when that was granted to the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska without your knowledge?
Well, I don't think that it was without the tribe's knowledge, but we'll talk more about that on Thursday.
Quick comment. Yeah, thanks for coming in. Congratulations, Annie, on your new life. And you guys have done a lot, and I look forward to finding out the results of that grant and what can be done with it. I've been going around saying it's textbook isn't working for us, so we can do something unique and different to try and help, maybe 2 people, 3 people next year. So look forward to figuring this out, and what you guys practically done stuff with nothing over there and help people out. So good job, and thanks for coming in. And I look forward to figuring out this transfer over possibly. Thanks.
Okay. Did anybody else have any comments or questions for LaDonna? Okay. So LaDonna, I guess I will keep you posted. on the status of that grant.
Hey, I wonder if we could sit in on that meeting with the hospital.
It's just a meeting with the tribal council.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'd like to thank the Winnebago tribe again, because without your support, your financial support, we wouldn't be here. And, yeah, Coley is right, we do a whole lot with a little bit. So I imagine what we could do if we really had something behind us and some more hands. And also like to thank the Winnebago Reformed Church, because without the Winnebago Reformed Church, we would not have a home. So that goes to talk about all of these programs working together. And we're very willing to do that. We welcome that. You know, we try it all the time. And this is why we just quit fighting for the detox program, and we just started using the facilities in Omaha. We don't have time or energy to waste on that. We need to save our people. And it's so critical. There's so many people out there that are losing hope. And in this time, these 18 months, you know, like we said, we lost people here. We don't know that we wouldn't been able to reach out to them and save them. We don't know that, but nobody tried. And we do try one by one as people walk through that door. And I think we do a pretty good job. I got a few good years left in me, and I really would like to mentor some more of our people. Our actual part of the tour grant and what the C task was going to be about was following through and sobering our people up and growing our own outreach workers. So, again, just thank you. Thank you for listening to us. And we're more than willing to work with anybody and just go forward. And I know we'll make a big difference in this community if you help us to help our people. Thank you.
Thank you, LaDonna. Have a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Council, we just learned that we did have a tribal member pass. Did you guys want to proceed and finish the meeting and be thinking? And we're on number 3. We've got several more, a few more approvals that could be a few minutes, and then we've got our executive session. So I want to make sure that we do that, so we acknowledge them and be thinking of the families. Yeah. So, do you guys want to proceed?
I would agree, proceeding.
Okay. Do you want to finish up? Yeah. Quick. Okay. Okay. Well, just since we're in the midst of the meeting, we'll just keep it moving. But we're thinking of the relatives and the mourners this evening. Moving on to the TIP grant. Ron, we have Ron with us here, and this is the Tribal Transportation Improvement Plan. We have a resolution in front of us. Ron, is there anything that you'd like to talk specifically? I know we talked about adding, yep, the 18, adding things to this list. Do you want to make any comments before we call for the motion? Go ahead. Just got to use your mic.
I think most of you guys have probably seen one of these before. Every couple of years, we put together a new transportation priority list, and you can see that we finished up, I think, the top 3 projects, or the top 3 projects we finished up. Those were all actually pretty big projects too. And we finished up the Armel Bridge, which is the A138 structure, the BI 52 alignment that comes east off of our new roundabout, and we're about probably within 2 weeks from being finished with the low water crossing. And I've, the order that they're in doesn't necessarily mean that's the order that we have to proceed with the projects, but we just need to get them in there. Actually, the Thunderway Streets, it's a mill patch and overlay project at Route 774. That's a project that we probably should consider trying to move forward with in the next year or so. This fall would be nice. It's probably about a little over $1 million project. I think we probably have that much in our account, but the streets out at Thunder Way are in pretty bad shape. I don't know if you guys have driven out there lately, but they're pretty bad. Educare, I just revised, actually just today finished revising the alignment of the Educare secondary entrance to line up with Sheridan Drive like the state suggests that we do. I'll finish that up and send you a copy of it. We got maintenance. I think we do, out of the $75,000 for that maintenance, we supplement some of our workers. That last pay raise that went out a year or so ago, it was like $3 or $4 an hour. I think that supplemental pay raise, instead of coming out of tribal appropriations, is coming out of this. That was graveling. A lot of these are maintenance related items. Then we've got a couple of them like the D Avenue bridge replacement. We've put the application together and submitted it. We'll see what happens. The D Avenue bridge is the bridge just right over here on the edge of town. D Avenue paving, that would be paving, all the way to the Wayne corner. That's maybe a little bit of a pie in the sky, but Brenda recommended that we put it on there, especially with all the infrastructure monies that are probably going to be on the table in the next couple of years. The BIA has a reservation-wide culvert project that's going to be coming out within the next year, and from what I understand, we should have an opportunity to replace any and all culverts that need to be replaced. And this would include that it's actually a culvert that's right over kind of by Coley's house. It's got that little, it's like a quartzite, kind of a wing wall on it. That's actually a culvert. And it looks like a bridge. It's a culvert. I went under it and walked under it the other day, and the structure itself is pretty decent. Those walls up on top are in pretty bad shape, and they could use some repairs done to them. But if we could get the whole thing replaced, we're going to try and get whatever we can. Reservation-wide bridges, Powwow Grounds parking lot. We've got rock down in the parking lot, and where we got opened up that ditch a couple of years ago. It'd be nice to be able to pave that someday. It's probably pretty far down on the list right here of our priorities for a parking lot that doesn't get used more than a week or so or a year. We've got a lot of inventory type work that needs to be done, and we've got an old GPS equipment from probably 20 or 22 years ago probably, and we would like to upgrade our GPS equipment. That's on there. And then Danae added the culvert maintenance also on here. So,
Thank you, Ron. Do we have a motion to adopt resolution 22-118 for the tribal transportation improvement?
Move it.
We have a motion by
Second.
Eric. We got a motion by Eric. We got a second by Kenny. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. Cool, we got everybody. Thank you. The next one is the tribal code development project. And we've talked at length about this over the past couple of years, and we're going to be applying for a tribal code revision project. under the BIA carryover funds. Do we have a motion to adopt resolution 22-19?
Thank you.
Motion, yep, 119, sorry. Motion by Isaac, do we have a second? Second by Rona. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. Thank you, council. The next resolution we have is the resolution for the senior home improvement, and that is gonna be resolution 22-120. And that's under the USDA FY23 Winnebago Tribe Senior Home Improvement Project. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion from Eric. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Isaac. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. That brings us to old business, and we're going, it sounds like we need a couple on, Linnell, how many more hemp commissioners do we need? One,
We have one vacant seat.
and then one for tax commission too?
Yes, we, at the last CEO report, I think it was in May, they were both advertised. We had 4 board and committees advertised. We had, for 2 of the boards, we had applicants, so that'll be on the CEO report, but we had 0 applicants for the hemp commission and the tax commission.
Thank you for that. Do we have a motion to re-advertise one position for the hemp commission and one position for the tax commission? We have a motion by Rona. Do we have a second?
Can that be until filled?
Rona, are you okay with that motion, or until filled, so we don't, in 30 days, we don't do this again? Okay. Until filled.
Second.
Second by Eric. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. Thank you, council. That brings us to tribal council items, and we have our tribal member with us, so do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Executive session.
We have a motion by Eric. Do we have a second? Second by Isaac. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried 800. We're entering executive session at 5:56. Louis and Brian will get you set up with that executive for the first, and we'll do the finance executive next.
Taking 5.
Yeah, we're gonna go offline because, well, we're gonna need action after the finance one possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll come back to the live one. Okay, so for the live link, hang out for a little bit while we do our executive sessions, and we'll come back to the live link to take action and adjourn. Can we jump back
I was-
to the main?
And the other,
Nope, we're all good, Alan. If we're gonna jump into the next live link to take our actions.
yeah,
Oh, we can stay here?
do you want me to join that one or?
No, you don't have to. We're
Okay.
good. Good. Thanks, Alan. Okay. So
All
we're
right,
just gonna do
thank
here.
you, council.
Okay. Good evening. Thank you for bearing with us. The Tribal Council is back in regular session. We had 2 agenda execs, and now we're back to make action. Council, we had a discussion on how we can make a tribal elder eligible for some of the home repair project scopes. And so we wanted to direct our fiscal resources director to modify, what are we calling it? Is it called the home repair program? Okay. Okay. So the discussion was to make a modification to some of the home repair criteria to make a tribal elder eligible. And is there a motion to direct the fiscal resource director to bring a modification forward as discussed? Okay, we have a motion by Isaac. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, who wants it? Okay, Louis second. Discussion? Objection to the motion? Motion carried 800. Thank you, council. Our next action involves some purchases of land, and for the membership's information, Alan Post, our CFO, in partnership with our treasurer, Rona Steeler, have been working with a work group, involves our land department and others, and on how to buy more land back on the reservation. We have 2 opportunities presented. One is a Niemann auction, and another is a Bryce Anderson land purchase. We're really happy that the tribe has resources to go after these, and in executive session we discussed that, and at this time, where was my resolution? Calling for, the first one would be adopting resolution 22-121, authorizing Rona Steeler as tribal treasurer to execute the necessary documentation on behalf of the tribe to carry out this resolution. And that is for the purchase of 160 acres of Anderson land by the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska. Do we have a motion? Up to 1.3 million to purchase the aforementioned land. Do we have a motion? We have a motion by Louis. Do we have a second? With the net lease fees going back to the portfolio, as discussed. So that's resolution 22-121. Do we have a second? Motion by Louis. We have a second by Isaac. Discussion. Since this is drawing down from the investment portfolio, it requires a full 9 council to vote. And so, do we have objection? Motion carried with the chair voting 900. Thank you, council. Our next action is to participate in the Niemann land auction, and that's resolution 22-122, and that is for the purchase of 3.3.06 acres. We would enter into an auction and pay cash for 60% and finance the remaining portion. This would require and authorize the tribe to bid up to a certain amount. I don't know if we want to say the up to a certain amount as authorized by the council, and require a drawdown from the portfolio. So do we have a motion to adopt resolution 22-122, authorizing Rona Steeler as treasurer to execute the necessary documentation on behalf of the tribe to carry out this resolution?
Move it.
We have a motion by Eric. Do we have a second?
How come we having a dollar amount up to in this resolution?
It's right here, except we're not going to say that because then they don't know what we this is.
Oh, I see. Okay. We're being on the shady side?
We have a motion by Eric, and do we have a second? A second by Isaac. Discussion? Object?
Comment real quick. it's good what we're doing. But I said it before, and for just a fractionless amount, all that land was sold to these farmers hundreds of years ago. And I said it once, and find out the pros and cons for me. Tell me why we cannot start a farm tax, start taxing these farmers on our reservation, on our sovereign land. Easier to get our land back in these coming years. Find out the pros and cons, and we will continue to talk about this. I think it'd be easier to get our land back in the coming decades, and we might have all our reservation back someday. Although I've heard, we might upset some local farmers, but some of these farmers, they do help us. They are handy to us, so whatever we can do, to accommodate them and let them continue helping us farm and whatever. So that's all.
Thank you, Coley.
Yeah.
That's something that we could definitely, a good idea, direct our tax commission to look into. Kenny?
But one of the things is, I'm hoping for the day that comes when we don't need their help or their equipment. Sooner the better.
That'll be a good day. Any further discussion? Objection? Motion carried with the chair voting 9-0-0. Thank you, council. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Before we do, is there any way we can apologize to the family to finish up what we've done? Is that in order, or?
Yeah, thank you, Kenny, for acknowledging the mourners. We understood this evening that we lost a tribal member, and so we apologize for any disrespect that you may have felt by us finishing the meeting. We don't have any details from our administrators yet, but we did hear just through social media and things, so
Could you do that for us, Madam Chair?
yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Who passed away?
We'll call you in a little bit, Louis. I'll let you know. We got to confirm and make sure that what we've seen on social media was accurate. So I'll call you in a minute, Louis. So do we have a motion to adjourn, Eric?
Yes.
Okay, moved by Eric. Do we have a second? Second by Rona. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried. 8-0-0. We're adjourned at 6:43 p.m. Thank you, council. Have a good evening. Thank you, Garen, and have a good evening, our Winnebago tribal members.